Do you feel like a failure? Do you blame life for being unfair? Do you want to give up on everything? If these thoughts are weighing you down, I hope this video helps you see a different path. It's a tragedy when people choose to give up on life because of a few early stumbles, or even worse, inflict tragedy on others to get revenge on life. That act is not only cowardly but also selfish. Because once the moment of impulse has passed, you'll realize you didn't just hurt yourself. You trampled on the love and sacrifice of those who trusted in you most: your parents, your spouse, your children, and your friends. You may think death is an escape, but the tragedy you leave behind will cause the people who love you to suffer and fall with you. Your existence is a priceless gift to them. Life is never easy, but failure isn't a reason to become a criminal. Instead, see it as a reminder that you still have loved ones by your side and a bright future to start over. Falling is a shared human fate, but getting back up and moving forward is what gives us dignity. Be strong and resilient. Start over from scratch. When you do that, you'll not only prove to the world that you are not defeated, but you'll also be able to make it up to the people who have always cared for and loved you. In the modern world, where competition is increasingly fierce and social standards are ever higher, failure has become a word that evokes great fear. People avoid mentioning it, hide it, and even view it as a stain on their personal history. However, looking back at the development of humanity and every individual, it is clear that no one matures without having failed. Failure is not just a temporary situation, it is a phenomenon with social, psychological, and philosophical value. It shows that people must constantly adjust themselves in the process of seeking perfection. If success is the light, then failure is the necessary shadow that makes that light meaningful. In other words, failure is not the end, but an essential chapter in the book of life, a chapter that shapes inner strength and unlocks the true value of success. Typically, failure is simply defined as not achieving a set goal. However, this concept is not deep enough to reflect its full meaning. From an individual perspective, failure is a discrepancy between expectation and reality. From a societal perspective, failure is the inability to meet collective norms. From a philosophical perspective, failure can be seen as an inevitable part of life, reflecting human finitude and imperfection. Therefore, failure is not an absolute negative entity. It is twofold. It is both painful and holds the potential for enlightenment. How we perceive failure determines whether it becomes a wall that blocks us or a stepping stone to move forward. The psychological impact of failure. When we fail, the brain often activates a defense mechanism. We feel shame, lose confidence, and may even fall into a state of self-negation. Modern psychology shows that failure activates the amygdala, the brain's fear center, causing the body to react as if facing an existential threat. This is why many people choose to avoid it, by giving up on challenges and accepting a life of complacency. However, failure can also trigger an adaptive mechanism. When an individual learns to analyze the cause and adjust their behavior, the brain forms new neural connections, known as neuroplasticity. As a result, people mature, learning how to cope with future challenges. No one grows within their comfort zone. A child must fall many times before they learn to walk. A student must make many mistakes to truly understand the nature of knowledge. An adult must go through failure to recognize their own limitations and potential. Failure helps people break free from illusions. It shatters unrealistic expectations, forcing individuals to restructure their goals. On a deeper level, failure teaches people to accept imperfection, a crucial element of psychological maturity. Emotional intelligence, EQ, the ability to understand and manage emotions, is increasingly valued more than IQ. Failure is a natural environment for training EQ. People who go through failure often learn to control fear, instead of letting it dominate them. Empathize with others, because they have experienced suffering themselves. Develop patience, instead of being impulsive. Cultivate the ability to motivate and encourage themselves. Thus, failure not only impacts professional skills but also contributes to shaping one's character. Human history provides clear evidence. Thomas Edison failed thousands of times before inventing the light bulb, but it was his trial and error that led him to his great invention. Abraham Lincoln failed in business, lost many elections, and lost his wife, but he eventually became the US president, leaving a great legacy of emancipation. Steve Jobs was fired from the company he founded, but later returned to reshape Apple and change the entire tech industry. In art, Van Gogh lived his entire life in failure. He sold fewer than 10 paintings while alive, but after his death, he became a great master. In daily life, failure also helps shape individuals. A person who loses a job may find a new passion. A student who fails to get into their dream university may choose a practical career path and achieve brilliant success. Without failure, there would be no innovation. Science progresses through experimentation, and experimentation means the possibility of failure. Leading tech companies all build a culture of embracing failure to encourage creativity. Google once said, "If you're not failing enough, you're not risking enough." Failure is where the seeds of groundbreaking ideas are sown, because it forces people to seek different solutions. At a societal level, failure acts as a natural selection mechanism. It helps eliminate unsuitable projects, ideas, and behaviors while retaining what is sustainable. A healthy society is not one without failure, but one that knows how to learn from it. For instance, in business, a company's bankruptcy may be a personal tragedy, but from a macroeconomic perspective, it helps the market weed out inefficient models, making way for new innovations. The true danger, the fear of failure. The true danger is not failure itself, but the fear of failure. This fear causes people to reject challenges and accept living within their comfort zones. The consequences are, individuals do not reach their full potential. Society loses out on creative ideas. Life becomes dull and lacks experiences. Thus, avoiding failure by not daring to try means losing the opportunity for success. To turn failure into strength, you need the right approach. Acknowledge, don't deny it, don't blame others. Analyze, find the objective and subjective reasons. Adjust, change your methods, not your goals. Share, turn failure into a lesson for others. Persevere, remind yourself that failure is just one chapter, never the whole book. Failure is unavoidable, but it never defines a person's entire life. On the contrary, it is an essential factor for forging courage, building emotional intelligence, sparking creativity, and shaping social values. A person who knows how to learn from failure will not see it as the end, but as the starting point for a new journey. Life is like a thick book. Failure is just one chapter, and you have the power to write more brilliant ones. Be brave and walk through the darkness, for only then can the light of success truly shine. Thank you to everyone for taking the time to watch this video. I wish you all good health, happiness, and every success in life. To give our channel more motivation to grow and bring you more meaningful messages, we truly hope to receive your support. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel if you find the content helpful. All of your feedback is incredibly valuable, so please leave your comments below. We will listen and strive to improve every day. Thank you very much.